Today, we'll explore the root of pain, where it begins, why it stays, and how it shapes the way we move through our lives. We'll look at why certain experiences leave such deep marks and how to navigate emotional pain with clarity, strength, and self-understanding. The purpose here is not to escape discomfort, it's to understand what your pain has been trying to tell you. Because when we learn to work with pain, instead of fighting against it, we open the door to genuine healing. Part 1: The Wound That Awakens You. There are moments in a human life when the earth no longer feels solid beneath your feet, moments when the world that once made sense falls apart like dust in your hands. It does not ask if you are ready. It does not wait until you are steady. It does not choose a gentle time. The break arrives in the middle of an ordinary day, in the middle of a breath, in the middle of believing that things would stay the same. A single conversation, a phone call, a truth revealed, a decision you didn't want to make, a truth you didn't want to see. And suddenly, the story you were living is gone. This is the threshold where many turn back, where many run, where many numb, drown, deny, or dissolve. But some, a rare few, will stand in the collapse and listen. Those who listen become something else, something deeper, something truer. They become the ones who do not just live life, but meet it. This is where you are now. This is the moment in your story where the wound appears, not as an accident, not as a punishment, but as a summoning. The paradox of pain. One must be wounded to become a healer. Not because suffering is noble, not because agony is romantic, but because pain is honest. Pain reveals what is real. Pain burns away the false identity, the performance, the self you created to survive. Pain removes what cannot go with you into the life you are meant to live next. This is the wound that awakens you. The break is an initiation. You may have been taught that strong people do not break. This is the great lie. It is the break that opens the door. It is the break that cracks the shell. It is the break that lets the light in. It is the break that releases the truth you have held beneath your ribs for years. You are not breaking apart. You are breaking open. There is a difference. Breaking apart is collapse without purpose. Breaking open is transformation. Breaking apart is the end of a story. Breaking open is the beginning of a new one. And your life, the real one, is beginning now. The wound is personal. It knows your name. Pain is not random. It is precise. It touches the exact part of you that has been waiting to be acknowledged. Heartbreak does not simply hurt. It reveals where you once learned to prove your worth to receive love. Loss does not simply grieve. It reveals the illusion that anything can be held forever. Failure does not simply wound. It reveals the belief that your value comes from what you achieve. Pain is not chaos. Pain is instruction. It shows you where the soul is calling to be reclaimed, where something true was silenced, where something sacred was abandoned. Your suffering is not meaningless. Your suffering is specific. It is the door to the part of you that is still alive, the part that refuses to die, the part that is rising. Carl Jung and the identity that must break. Carl Jung wrote that the greatest psychological and spiritual transformations begin with what he called a rupture, a tearing of the old identity, the self you thought was you, the persona you wore for acceptance, the armor you grew to survive childhood, relationships, expectations. It held you once, but now it is too small. The person you thought you had to be cannot carry the person you are becoming. That identity must break. The ego resists this with everything it has. The ego will say, no, not here, not now, not this. But the soul says, yes, now, here, this. Because the self you made to survive is not the self you are meant to live as. Your life is calling you deeper. This is the descent. This is the undoing. This is the place where the old self dissolves. Do not fear this. what is falling away is not you, what is breaking is everything that covered you. The myth of Chiron and why your wound matters. In Greek myth, Chiron was wounded by a poisoned arrow that no medicine could heal. He tried everything. He used every skill, every practice, and every cure. Nothing closed the wound, so he learned to live with it. And in doing so, he became able to guide others through their pain with a depth and clarity no unscarred healer could ever offer, because he understood. He understood what breaking feels like, what despair feels like, what surrender feels like, what it means to wake up and still hurt, what it means to go on anyway. Chiron's wound was not his weakness. His wound was his authority. Your wound, the one you are carrying right now, is the place where your compassion will be born. Your wisdom will be carved, your clarity will be sharpened, your purpose will be shaped. Your wound is not your failure. Your wound is your initiation. You are not meant to hide it. You are meant to learn from it. You are meant to walk with it. You are meant to rise with it. This truth echoes across every culture. Christ returns with wounds visible, not erased. The scars are proof of transformation. The Buddha awakens only after witnessing illness, aging, death, suffering, not before. Shamans are not trained. They are broken open by crisis, illness, loss, near death, and emerge with sight others do not have. The warrior is not born in triumph. The warrior is born at the moment of collapse, the moment they realize, I will not die here. You are in that moment. Right now, this moment, this breath. Your wound is not the end of your life. Your wound is the beginning of your becoming. The wound as the teacher. Pain strips away illusion. Pain forces truth to the surface. Pain removes the masks you learned to wear. Pain says, no more pretending, no more shrinking, no more performing for love, no more abandoning yourself to be chosen. Pain says, come home. Come home to your heart. Come home to your voice. Come home to your depth. Come home to the self you lost along the way. This is not punishment. This is return. You are not the person you were before the wound, and you are not meant to be. You are becoming someone who cannot be deceived by illusions, cannot be controlled by fear, cannot be owned by loneliness, cannot be broken by loss. Someone who has been to the underworld and walked out carrying fire. Your wound is teaching you not how to suffer, but how to rise. You've traveled through the meaning of the wound, through the descent, through the revealing. But understanding alone does not heal the heart. Knowing why you suffer does not instantly soothe the ache. There comes a moment where reflection must become action, where awareness must become practice, where survival becomes strength. We are approaching that moment now. Soon we shift into the how to breathe through pain, how to walk with pain, how to carry pain without being crushed by it, how to rise even while you are still healing. And yes, we compile tools and practices for you. Below we attached apps and resources that help you begin writing the next chapter of your life. We have also made a list of practices to guide you with clarity, direction, and agency. But not yet. First, we finish the descent into truth, because the heart cannot rise until it knows why it fell. Part 2. The descent, the shadow, the breaking open. There is a moment in every descent where the world outside continues moving, but your inner world stops. People speak to you, life keeps going, the sun rises and sets, but you are living somewhere beneath the surface. It is as if the ground opened beneath your feet and you fell into a part of yourself you have avoided for years. This is not madness. This is not failure. This is not weakness. This is the underworld of the soul. The place where transformation begins to those who have never descended. This place looks like breakdown. But those who have walked this path know it for what it is, the initiation. There is no transformation. Without the descent, there is no rebirth. Without the dying of the old identity, there is no rising. Without the fall, you are not collapsing. You are being taken inward. The pull into depth. The descent begins quietly, a heaviness in the chest, a silence where your voice used to be, a numbness that scares you because it feels like nothing, or a grief so sharp you cannot swallow without choking on it. Your emotions begin to move on their own schedule. Grief at random, anger without warning, memories resurfacing that you thought were buried. You feel things you can't explain in words, things you thought you were over, things you thought you had outrun. This is not regression, this is truth returning. Everything you did not have space to feel. In the moments you survived, your heart is trying to feel now, because now you are strong enough to feel it. The descent is not punishment, it is readiness. The shadow arrives. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the part of you that holds, the tears you swallowed, the love you begged for, the rage you denied, the weakness you weren't allowed to show, the innocence you were taught to hide, the tenderness you believed made you vulnerable, the dreams you abandoned to be realistic, the hope you buried because hope made you easy to hurt, the voice that was silenced to make others comfortable. The shadow is not darkness. The shadow is the unlived self, and pain is the key that unlocks it. This is why the descent is necessary. You cannot rise into your fullness, while parts of you remain exiled. The descent is the calling back of all that has been lost. The shadow does not return to destroy you. The shadow returns to reunite you. You may feel afraid of your own feelings. You may fear losing control. You may fear being overwhelmed. But hear this. You are not being overwhelmed. You are being restored. Everything that was frozen is thawing. Everything that was numb is waking. Everything you restrain out of fear is now trying to come home. This is what it means to live. The cracking open of the heart. People talk about heartbreak as if it is simply emotional pain. But heartbreak is a spiritual event. It is the splitting open of the inner world, the tearing of the protective shell around the heart, the collapse of the identity that believed it could control love. The heart does not break because love is lost. The heart breaks because love was real. It breaks because it opened, because it risked itself, because it reached beyond survival into communion. The heart breaks not to close, but to expand, to feel more, to understand more, to hold more. The walls you built around your heart kept you safe once. You needed them. They were wisdom then, but they have become too small. If your heart is breaking now, it is because your heart is growing, and growth hurts. It hurts more than the wound itself, because growth asks you to step into a version of yourself that you have never been before. This is the breaking open. Do not run from it. This is where the new self takes shape. The shattering of identity. You may feel like you no longer recognize yourself. Your motivations change, your desires shift, your priorities crumble. The things you once chased look empty now. The things you once tolerated feel impossible now. This is not losing yourself. This is losing who you are not. Let the false self fall away. Let the mask dissolve. Let the performance die. Who you were was not a mistake. It was a survival strategy, but you are no longer surviving. You are awakening. And awakening is not comfortable. Awakening is not gentle. Awakening is not pretty. Awakening is the death of who you were, never meant to remain. This is the descent. This is the undoing. This is the sacred collapse. This is the chrysalis. The caterpillar does not transform inside the cocoon. It dissolves. It becomes nothing. It becomes unrecognizable to itself. It becomes formless. The descent is the cocoon. You are dissolving, so that you may become something only truth can shape. You are not lost. You are between selves. People may not understand you now. Life may feel unfamiliar. You may not know who you are becoming, but listen carefully. You are not lost. You are between selves. The old self has been shed, but the new self has not yet taken form. This is the most sacred moment in the human journey, the moment before the rise, the moment before the return, the moment before rebirth. Do not rush this. The soul does not hurry. Be patient with your becoming. And now we reach the threshold. This is where understanding must become embodiment, where insight must become practice, where surviving must become living. This is where we leave the underworld and begin the ascent. But before we rise, we pause here, because the heart needs a moment to recognize what it has survived. And now we transition. Part 3. Learning to carry the wound. You have descended. You have faced what was buried. You have stood at the center of your own breaking. What comes now is not the end of pain, but the beginning of mastery. Healing does not mean the wound disappears. Healing means the wound becomes integrated, claimed, understood, honored. Healing means the wound no longer owns your life, but becomes part of your strength. The wound remains, but the suffering ends. This is where you stop asking, when will the pain go away? And begin asking, how do I walk with it and still live fully? This is maturity of the soul. This is the return of power. This is the rising warrior, the first truth of carrying the pain. The wound is not something you fix. It is something you accompany. Most people are never taught how to sit with pain. They are taught how to avoid it, distract, number, run, stay busy, pretend, force positivity, perform strength. But you will learn something else. You will learn how to stay. Staying with your pain is not drowning. Staying is choosing not to abandon yourself. And that is where power begins. Place your hand on your chest. Feel the warmth. There is a heartbeat there. That heartbeat means you are still here. You did not disappear. You are not gone. You are still alive inside your life. This is where you begin. 1. Sit with yourself even when it hurts. Find a moment, even 30 seconds. To stop running, sit. Close your eyes. Let your shoulders drop. Not to fix anything, not to silence anything, not to make the pain go away, but to say without words, I am here. I am not abandoning myself. You have no idea how much of your suffering comes from leaving yourself alone. In moments when you needed your own presence, when you stay, even for a breath, the pain begins to soften. Not because it weakens, but because you strengthen. This is not a technique. This is reclaiming yourself. 2. Walk slowly to teach the body it is safe. The body remembers what the mind cannot hold. Walk, not fast, not to escape. Walk like you are leading a child home. Your breath is the guide. Your steps are the rhythm. Your spine is the pillar. If possible, walk near water, the ocean that never stops moving, the river that carries everything forward, the rain that falls and falls and falls and still ends. Water teaches nothing stays frozen forever, not even pain. When you walk, you are telling your nervous system, we are safe now. We are not trapped. We are allowed to move. This is how the warrior returns to the body, not by force, by companionship. 3. Let the pain speak. Expression is release. Pain is a pressure. If it does not move through you, it turns into tension, anxiety, depression, numbness, shame, anger turned inward. Your pain wants to move. Speak, write, cry, sing, shake, scream into a pillow, draw lines that make no sense. You are not being dramatic. You are unfreezing. Expression is exorcism. Suppression is self-abandonment. Let it move. The wound does not want to haunt you. It wants to leave you, but it cannot leave if you keep it silent. 4. Create one small ritual of return. Healing is not found in grand gestures. Healing is found in repeatable tenderness. One ritual, simple, doable, sustainable. Examples: light a candle every evening. Sit beside a window each morning. Touch your own heart once a day. Write one honest sentence before bed. Breathe slowly for 60 seconds, not to change you, but to anchor you. Your nervous system learns safety through repetition. Your heart learns trust through consistency. Your spirit learns belonging through ritual. One act, repeated daily, becomes a bridge back to yourself. This is how the warrior strengthens, not by force, but by devotion. 5. Let one soul witness you. Healing is not solitary, it is relational. Pain becomes unbearable only when it is unshared. You do not need a crowd. You do not need to tell everyone your story. You need one safe presence to sit with you in your truth. Not someone who tries to fix you, not someone who denies your pain, not someone who disappears when it gets heavy. Someone who can say, I am here. I am not leaving. This is not weakness. This is how humans heal. Even warriors do not stand alone. Warriors stand in circles. 6. Rest when you need to rest. There will be days when exhaustion hits like a wave. Do not fight it. The body collapses when the spirit needs rebirth. Rest, lay down. Let the world continue without you for a moment. You are not falling behind. You are being restored. Strength without rest is not strength. It is self-erasure. Rest is not quitting. Rest is how you stay alive. 7. Allow joy to return, slowly, gently, without forcing. Your mind will tell you, no, I'm not ready. The pain is still here, but joy does not come instead of pain. Joy comes alongside pain. Joy does not replace grief. Joy makes grief livable. Let sunlight matter again. Let laughter in, even if it surprises you. Let beauty count for something. Let music soften you. You are not betraying your pain when you allow joy. You are simply remembering that you are more than the wound, and that memory is the beginning of freedom. 8. Speak to your pain like something alive, because it is. When the ache rises, place your hand where it hurts and speak inwardly. I see you. I hear you. I am not abandoning you. This is how the wound learns safety. This is how the heart reopens. This is how the soul returns to the body. Healing does not happen through resistance. Healing happens through reunion. The warrior does not kill the wound. The warrior befriends it. The return, the rising. Now hear this, and let it enter your bones. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are being carved into something precise, something clear, something unshakable. Your tenderness is not weakness. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. Your depth is not a burden. These are the marks of someone who has met themselves in the fire and did not turn to stone. You did not crumble. You did not vanish. You did not die in the place that asked you to disappear. You remained. And because you remained, you are now rising. Not in the same form, not with the same priorities, not with the same identity. You are rising as someone who cannot be fooled by illusions, as someone who cannot be controlled by fear, as someone who cannot be owned by loneliness. You are rising as someone who has walked through their own darkness and learned its language. You are rising as someone who has seen death and chosen life anyway. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of the chapter you were born to live. You rise from here. Thank you for listening.